You know, when most people think of Finnish heavy metal, their minds immediately go to the melancholic stuff. You've got the gothic romance of Hymn, or the symphonic grandeur of Nightwish, or just the sheer, freezing cold darkness of black metal. It's always painted as very atmospheric, very serious.
That is the stereotype, isn't it? The land of 1,000 lakes and 1,000 sad songs. But if you dig just a little deeper, especially if you rewind the clock to the late 80s, Finland had a completely different pulse. It was fast, it was aggressive, and it was surprisingly technical. We need to talk about Prestige.
Prestige. Now, that is a name that commands a certain level of respect just by saying it. But for the uninitiated, we aren't talking about a luxury car brand here. We are talking about old-school, neck-breaking thrash metal.
Exactly. And frankly, looking at their trajectory, Resilience might have been a better name, though it doesn't sound as cool on a leather jacket. I've been looking through their entire discography from the grainy demo tapes of 1988 all the way to their massive reissues in 2024. And it is a fascinating case study of a band that just refuses to die.
It's interesting you mention the timeline, because usually with these heritage thrash bands, you have the glory days, then the breakup, and then maybe a sad reunion tour 30 years later. But looking at the files you sent over, the gap here feels different. Let's start at the beginning, 1988. The Gods demo.
Right, the Gods demo. This is the genesis. You have to imagine the scene. It's 1988. Thrash is exploding globally. Metallica, Slayer, Creator. And here are these guys in Ilojärvi, Finland, recording tracks like Force of My Hate and Brain Outburst.
Brain Outburst is a fantastic title for a thrash song, by the way. It captures that frantic energy perfectly.
It does. And that demo wasn't just noise. It got them signed. It led directly to their debut album in 1989, Against Gnomes. And can we just pause for a second to appreciate that title? Against Gnomes.
It's incredibly specific. It sounds almost like a fever dream. Is it political? Is it fantasy?
That's the beauty of Prestige. They have this ferocious musical capability, but they balance it with this weird, almost eccentric sense of humor. On that same album, you have serious tracks like Dead by Drugs, which is a 5-minute heavy hitter about substance abuse, sitting right next to a track called Rabbit, which is literally 4 seconds long.
4 seconds?
4 seconds. Blink and you miss it. But that debut album, Against Gnomes, really set the template. It was fast, raw, and it had that distinct Finnish crunch. It was successful enough that it even got a licensed release in Spain. They weren't just a local garage band, they were exporting this sound.
So they hit the ground running. Then comes 1990. The sophomore slump is usually where bands falter, but they dropped Selling the Salvation.
And I would argue this is where they really found their stride. The production tightened up. If you look at the track list for Selling the Salvation, the songwriting gets more adventurous. You have the title track, which is a classic anti-establishment anthem, but then you have, well, look at the other titles.
I'm looking at the list now. Maggots, Miserable Life, Sexual Education, and then, wait, I Don't Want to Play with Teddy?
Laughs. Exactly. I Don't Want to Play with Teddy. And Naughty Granny.
Naughty Granny? You're kidding.
I am not. This is what I mean about their personality. A lot of thrash bands take themselves so seriously that it becomes a caricature. Prestige was writing blistering riffs, technical, speedy stuff, but lyrical themes that were just bizarre. It gave them a unique identity. They weren't just copying the Bay Area sound. They were injecting this weird Finnish personality into it.
It reminds me of how punk rock uses humor to disarm you before hitting you with the message. So, they have this run in the early 90s. They drop Parasites in Paradise in 1992, which sounds like a critique on society just from the title alone.
Parasites in Paradise was arguably their most mature work of that era. Tracks like Crack Children and The Makes Me Sick. You can feel the frustration with the state of the world. But then, silence. The 90s were hard for thrash metal. Grunge took over, death metal got bigger, and traditional thrash kind of went into hibernation.
Right, the dark ages for high tops and denim vests. But looking at the data here, they didn't disappear forever. There's a compilation in 2007, Decades of Decay,
Which is a great title for a retrospective. It collected all those gems, priest, veho, gods. It kept the name alive. But the real story, the thing that actually impresses me, isn't the nostalgia. It's what happened in 2021.
2021? That's over 30 years after their debut. You're talking about Reveal the Ravage?
Yes, Reveal the Ravage, released on Massacre Records. This wasn't a compilation. This was a brand new studio album. And, usually when a band comes back after that long, it's usually tired. It's usually slow.
They tune down the guitars to hide the fact that they can't play fast anymore?
Exactly. But Reveal the Ravage? It rips. It is genuinely aggressive. Tracks like Exit and You Weep show that they didn't lose the fire. In fact, the production is obviously modern and crisp, but the songwriting is still pure prestige. It's like they were cryogenically frozen in 1992 and woke up angry in 2021.
I love that image. Innocent and Burn My Eyes are on that record too. The titles suggest they haven't lost that critical edge, that observation of society's flaws.
And the market responded. They put it out on Digipack CD, 1, 2-inch vinyl. They know their audience loves the physical format. Metal fans are collectors.
Speaking of collectors, I noticed in the notes that Massacre Records has been busy in 2023 and 2024. They are doing official re-releases of the back catalogue. Selling the Salvation and Attack Against Gnomes are back in print.
And not just simple reprints. We're talking red vinyl, black vinyl, digipacks, with bonus tracks. For example, the Selling the Salvation reissue includes Priest and Wake Up as bonus tracks. The Attack Against Gnomes reissue has the original 1988 demo of Gods.
That is such a service to the fans. It's preserving history. If you didn't buy that cassette in 1989, you were out of luck for decades. Now, you can own a piece of Finnish metal history.
It's crucial because physical media was how this music spread. The tape trading culture of the ATS is how a band from Ylöjärvi got heard in Spain or South America. Seeing these albums restored and repressed is validation. It says, this music matters. It wasn't disposable.
It's also interesting to see the Gods Revisited release from 2018. They went into the studio and recorded the old tracks live.
Yes, recorded live at Phantom Studio. They took the songs from the 1988 demo, Force of My Hate, Brain Outburst, and played them with their modern gear and experience. It's a side-by-side comparison. You can hear the hunger of the youth in the originals and the precision of the veterans in the 2018 versions.
That's a bold move. You're inviting direct comparison between your younger self and your older self.
It is, but they pull it off. It proves that the riffs were always good. They weren't just good for a demo tape. They were good songs, period.
You know, looking at this list, seeing titles like Violence Makes No Sense next to Naughty Granny, and then seeing the modern stuff like Self-Destruct and Prime Time, what is the through line here? If you had to summarize the prestige sound or philosophy, what is it?
I think it's authentic aggression. They never tried to be the evilest black metal band, and they never tried to be the most polished commercial band. They stuck to this lane of technical, catchy, slightly weird thrash metal. They are distinctively Finnish in that way, uncompromising and a little bit eccentric.
And clearly, it works. You don't get reissues on Massacre Records in 2024 if nobody cares.
Precisely. There is a longevity to quality. Trends come and go. We've seen nu metal rise and fall, metalcore rise and fall. But good, solid thrash? It's like a cockroach in the best possible way. It survives everything.
Laughs. I'm sure they'd appreciate the comparison, given they have a song called Maggots.
Laughs. I think they would.
So, for someone listening who maybe has never heard a note of Prestige, but loves that high-energy guitar work, where should they start? Do they go chronological, or do they jump to the modern stuff?
That's a tough one. I'd say, if you want to understand the history, grab the reissue of Attack Against Gnomes. Experience that raw 1989 energy. But, if you want to hear what they are capable of right now, Reveal the Ravage is a fantastic modern metal album. It doesn't sound dated. It sounds urgent.
It's rare to find a band where the new stuff stands tall next to the classics. Usually, the new album is just the excuse to tour the old hits.
Not here. They are playing Exit and You Weep alongside Dead by Drugs in their sets. It's a cohesive body of work.
It really makes you think about the nature of success in art. They aren't Metallica, they aren't filling stadiums globally, but they have sustained a career, created a legacy, and are still producing art that resonates with people decades later. Isn't that the ultimate goal?
It is. It's about respect. They have the respect of the scene, the respect of the label, and the respect of the fans who have held on to those vinyls for 30 years. That is the definition of prestige.
Well said. It's a reminder that sometimes the best gems are hidden in the underground, waiting for a reissue to shine again.
Absolutely. And honestly, I just really want more people to listen to a song called Naughty Granny. The world needs that kind of energy right now.
Laughs. On that note, we should probably wrap up before we start singing it. It's been a great dive into the Finnish underground.
Always a pleasure to dig up the heavy stuff.
For everyone listening, go check out the links, buy the vinyl if you can, and support these legends. Thanks for listening.
Keep it heavy.